You know, it sounds like the class clown, but that's not true, really. There was, quite often there were 2 or 3 or 4 of them. Sometimes you'd have a whole classroom full of them, man. If the main guy was absent, second banana would fill in, right? Yeah. And the class clown wasn't really so unique. He didn't necessarily do things that were real different. It was that he learned things first. He discovered things first and passed them on to the other guys, right? Class clown was the first to discover a lot of musical things. He was the first one to get into Hawaiian nose humming, right? Well, if you're going to play, And then playing head. You had to be a little mazzo for that anyway, man, That and throat. Found out later in life the beard acts as a mute for soft passages. Right. Yeah. Well, anyway. Class clown was the first guy to discover this, usually in gym class, right? Yeah, the old artificial fart under the arm.
The Tigers are coming off a win in their previous game. Hi again, everybody. I'm Dwayne Kuiper with Mike Krukow, and again, it looks like a great evening for a ball game.
But it really does, Kuiper, and I'm anxious to get this one started.
And now, here's tonight's starting pitcher, Mike Maroth. Tonight's American League game is between the Boston Red Sox and the Detroit Tigers. Dirksen steps into the box.
It was an important sound, I guess we found so many ways to make it, I didn't need any of those fancy ones because I could, I was into the bilabial fricative,
And we're underway.
I was so glad when I found out that had a real official name to it, man. Bronx Cheer and Raspberry never made it for me. Bilabial fricative.
Misses for a ball.
Do one from the back?
Kelly, 7 wins and 7 losses on the season.
It would probably be an SBD today, man.
He's rounding first.
Under that silent but deadly. Wow.
A stand-up triple.
It's true. Most of the time in class, I was tempted to
fool
around, man.
Like most writers,
Get someone's. That's what it was.
facing
Yeah.
off against
You'd be bored, and you'd figure, well, why not deprive someone else of their education?
He averages about 6 strikeouts per 9 innings.
And you would set about disrupting the class by
attracting attention to yourself.
That is the name of this job, It's called Dig Me.
Forecast is calling for the temperature to be between 60 and
It
70
was like,
degrees.
hey guys, didn't make the team, but
Never missed a sweet strikeout.
Say, hey, he's crazy, man.
Change goes
Hey,
right
wanna go to
down
the party?
the middle.
If he can hit the ball deep in the
You went to all
outfield,
the parties.
they'll get a run.
Got the last girl, but you went to all the
He's
parties.
got a handful of pitches to choose from.
When I would try to attract attention in class, I wasn't really
Great
like a very
catch.
bold
He
youth.
snagged that thing right out of
Very
midair.
timid, really. I didn't get right into fake epileptic seizures in the aisle, and just start out and test the
lefty's
water
a
a little
pretty good
bit.
hitter.
I used to start with little sounds like
0-1.
The key to scoring runs is cashing in when you get opportunities like this.
That's a
Let's see
good
if
one
they
because
knock
no
in
one
that
can
run
really
for
see
third.
where it's coming from,
That's strike 2.
You can even look around like you don't know, right?
Here's the manager's lineup.
That's, of course, the pigeon. You recognize the pigeon.
Bronson Arroyo.
That was my only bird call. Because that was our only bird, man. That's from a real New York part of New York, We had pigeons and sparrows. Had sparrows. Sparrows, though, you can never pin a sparrow, you know? They would leave too fast. You try to go over to a sparrow.
When this batter faces
Pigeons would walk out of your way and give you a bad look, right?
Misses with a fastball.
Sometimes you try to make the hit pitch. Exactly what you saw right there.
Poor pigeons, man.
Strike.
Their song is stuck in their throat, you
9
know?
wins and 8 losses this season.
That's what living in the city does, man.
He gets the outside
Sticks your song in your throat.
Sweet.
I'm sure when the
curveball
pigeons
right
first
there,
got to the city,
He
they had a
delivered
nice
right where
song,
he
man.
wanted to for a called strike.
A few years in the city. And then that little
Sanchez
oil
will
slick
hit
we laid
next.
on him. We've seen that oil slick on there next. I'm sure we gave him that.
Hit towards the shortstop.
I had one sound that was my
2
own.
outs.
Not completely my own. I stole it from a Spike Jones record. None of the other guys could do that one. I added a little something to it.
This dude has a heavy of pitches in his arsenal.
No one really cared, you know. Get him out of here. Get him out of here.
Arroyo misses. 1-2.
And then, of course, there was popping the cheek, which everyone had to do. Just to be a kid, you had to be able to do that,
The
right?
count is even
Yeah, it
at
was
2.
part of the credentials. Can he pop his cheek? Okay, he's a kid. Let him in. Go on.
3-2
Let me hear
count.
all of you do that. I love when a whole auditorium does it. Everybody do it. Like that. Just pop.
Struck him out with the
Now
heater.
do it without giving in to the temptation to laugh. Everybody do it without laughing.
No score here.
But we take that for granted, you know. We think it's so simple. You say to yourself, well, I think I'll put my finger in my cheek and pop it.
Sometimes you try to make the hitter chase.
It's not that easy, man. There's a lot of things to think about. You got to know how much finger to put in there, for one, right? You can't do it like that, man.
Pitch out of the zone.
You have to judge the amount of finger. You have to know how much air pressure against the cheek,
Sometimes you try
how
to
much
make
cheek
the hitter
pressure
chase
against
your
the
pitch.
air,
Exactly what you saw right there.
and when to release. Yeah, you see old guys in the park now can't get it on anymore.
Hey, that was a great rip. He wouldn't clutch and sweep to the full out.
That's the first thing that goes on a class clown is
Gets the strike on the inside edge.
the cheeks,
Hey,
man.
partner, if the pitcher can keep the ball low in the zone, he might
They
be
never
able to
did issue
use a ground ball
microphones
to
to the
start
class
too.
clowns. That would have been a big help. But you had ones like this.
Out of the zone. That's a ball.
This guy is a horse.
And you remember
Every
this
time
one?
he goes
Old
out,
men
you
always used to
expect
do
him
this
give
too.
7 or 8 strong innings.
They check with the first base umpire.
Remember your grandfather would always do that. Hey, come
Got
on.
him with the curveball.
Hey, good strike one. He just keeps plowing away from striking.
I was, my specialty was knuckle cracking. I was into it on kind of an esoteric level, really.
First pitch
For instance,
strike.
I could crack all 28 knuckles, you know. 28 plus, actually. Only 28 are officially recognized by the Knuckle Institute. But you aficionados know that down at the ends of the fingers, you have a lot of multiples and repeaters.
Fastball for a strike.
If you wake up and think about it first thing in the morning, you can do 50 or more of them, man.
And it's
A
2-2.
little more knuckle lore for you. The smaller the knuckle, the higher
Got
the
him
pitch.
swinging.
Something you just don't stop to think about, you know?
Sweet
For instance, this
strikeout.
last knuckle on the pinky is the highest pitched knuckle. You'll hear it now.
The next batter is Jason.
That was a double. Let's see if I can go for the double on the other pinky. I don't often get 2 doubles in performance. I'd like to try.
Hoping the batter would go chasing.
And that was
I like to
down a
see a
little lower than
hit-and-run
it should have been.
situation
That's a higher pitched and much more
Pitcher's
gentle
behind the
knuckle
count, so he
usually.
has to come over.
Let's
The
give the
pitcher
right
doesn't
one on
like
the end of the
it, so why
pinky a
not hit and
chance.
run?
Hit towards the shortstop. Takes the force out at second.
Let's see if the other
Heading
one's in
into
there,
the
too.
bottom of the second. The game is scoreless.
2 doubles is far out, yeah.
Next up, Carlos Dia.
The best reason for cracking your knuckles was to make the girls sick. I mean, that's That's all you wanted to do when you were 9 or 10 was make the girls sick. If you could get Margaret Mary to throw up on her desk in the morning,
No balls, 2 strikes.
you knew it would be a good day. He picked the most squeamish girl, right? Margaret Mary was susceptible to knuckles. Hey, Margaret Mary!
Sometimes you try to make the hit chase your pitch. That's exactly what you saw right there.
Ground ball to the right side.
Remember that feeling like wiping off snot?
Hit towards the shortstop.
Not the best throw I've ever seen, Parker.
Somebody else's.
Next up to plate, Marcus Giant.
Wipe on flaming wood if you had to, man.
He gets it over for a strike.
That is pinpoint control right there. The catcher set a target on the corner, the pitcher just hammered it for a strike.
Nobody really likes
He's
the
on
bottom
first
fluid,
with a
you know?
base hit.
Hey, he was
Unless you
sitting
keep
dead
it to
red.
yourself.
He got the heat and he smoked it.
Really, think of it. Any fluids or semi-fluids
Low strike with the
that you
changeup.
secrete or excrete
He
or
showed
whatever.
excellent command with that pitch. A
People
strike
don't
right
wanna
on the
hear
edge of
it.
the zone.
Earwax, blood, sweat. Get it out of here, man.
On the black, who would call strike even if the batter didn't swing at it.
Sometimes they'll take your
Three-pitch
blood if they're in
strikeout.
trouble, you know. Otherwise, keep things inside. People want you to keep things inside.
After 2,
Anything
no
you could do
score
disgusting
here.
was good for Class Clown. Ernest Cruz could
Leading
turn his
off,
upper
Manny
eyelids
Ramirez.
inside out. Wow. Remember those guys? Wow. Even I would go,
Misses downstairs.
He compliments his above-average four-seam
Don't do that,
fastball with
Ernest.
a
You look like the
decent
devil,
changeup and an
man.
average two-seam fastball.
He catches the plate for a strike.
John Pigman could belch at will. Not just the ordinary belch. I mean, we all learned to swallow a little air,
1-2
you know,
count.
do the fraternity burp. But John Pigman was an artist, man. He
Hits
would
to center
save
field.
air for like half an hour, man. You'd see him over
He's
in the
on
corner.
with a
Hey, John.
leadoff
No, man.
single.
Oh, and when he would finally let go.
Barrage misses 1-0.
Oh, wow. Oh, ladies.
Strike with a fastball.
Oh, ladies would
He's
duke
throwing
the
129
blocks
innings this
around.
season, and against him, hitters are hitting a respectable average of 266.
He would talk when he burped.
Hey,
Remember
Bart,
those
don't
guys?
be surprised if the skipper calls for him right here. This guy doesn't swing and miss too often.
Misses for a ball.
He'd try to go through the whole alphabet on one burp, right?
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W.
Ball 4.
Kipe, he showed a great eye right there. He was patient, worked the pitcher, and
Sometimes John would be in the movie theater,
Up
and
next,
you didn't know he was
Mike
there. And then you found
Nobody
out,
out.
man. If anybody on the screen opened their mouth
Infield's
without
got to
saying
think about playing a
anything,
double play catch right
John would provide the dialogue.
now. The pitcher nailed the corner right on target.
Hey, John's here, man.
Sometimes you try to make the hitter chase your pitch. That's exactly what you saw right there.
Class Clown used to save his best
On
stuff
the
for
ground to
lunchtime
third.
when you were drinking your milk.
There's a double play.
Now there's a great example of the defense picking you up. They turned
And
a
he'd
sweet
try to
double
make
play
the
right
milk
there.
come out your nose. Huh?
Miguel Cabrera.
Hey, Carl, you bastard, I'll get you, man.
A bit high, 1-0.
Sometimes you try to make a hitter chase your pitch. That's
It was even
exactly
better
what
with
you just
7-Up
saw
or
right
root
there.
beer, you know?
And that
Get all
evens
those
the count.
bubbles up in their sinuses, man. One time,
Sanchez
Michael
should have
Davey
no
passed
problem.
an entire cheese sandwich
The
through his
Sox
mouth.
retired with 1 man left on base. After 2.5, the game is scoreless. This guy isn't great against right-handed pitching, but he does all right.
Sister Annunziata thought it was a
Hit
miracle,
towards the
you know?
shortstop.
Come with me, mister. And don't talk to the other boys and girls.
Pops it up.
Yeah, you're not allowed to talk to anyone right after a miracle, you
Puts it
know?
away for the out.
You have to wait and be debriefed by a priest, right?
2 outs and nobody on.
Remember that?
That's
You still do
fouled off
that?
the catcher.
Dun, dun, dun. Don't lose that, man. Dun. Remember when you were a
Towards
kid
first
on a hot
base.
day, nobody was
1, 2,
around,
3,
nothing to
and the
do?
inning is over. After 3, no score here.
I'll still do it, man. I'll push the button in the elevator. Dun, dun. Watch the numerals going up.
Here's the pitch.
Yeah, otherwise it's
And
all
it's 0-2.
wasted time, you know?
He's batting
Elevators, nothing to do in the elevator
with
except
7
not
long
look at the other
balls
guy.
and 52 runs batted in.
Huh?
And he fouls this one.
Stare at your shoes. I play spy at the airport. You ever do that? I believe in using that kind of time. It's wasted time. Play spy at the
Strokes
airport.
this one into left
Especially
field.
a big airport. You know there's a spy at the airport,
He
yeah?
puts it away.
Your job? Find him. Yeah. Get into a little of this.
Fastball outside.
I'll share this with you. I'll share a swallow of water
No
with you.
one
Why
on
not?
and
yeah?
one out.
No one ever shares a swallow with you. It's a kind of a personal sound.
Fastball inside.
Sometimes you try to make the hitter chase with it. That's exactly what you saw right there.
That second half is the best part of the swallow, you know?
He's on first with a
There are
base
two
hit.
parts. A lot of people don't realize two
Guys, that was
parts
a
to the
good piece of
swallow.
hitting.
The
He
first
didn't try
one,
to do
that
too much.
kind of
He just
bubbly
took what he
sound,
gave.
is when you pour something in your mouth, your throat
Hit towards
closes
the
up.
shortstop.
Because your throat doesn't trust your mouth, man.
And they turn 2.
Your throat knows your
There's
mouth
a
is
great
crazy.
example of the defense picking
and
you up.
will
They
do
turned a
anything.
sweet double play right there.
So your throat is kind of a monitor, and you pour something in your
After
mouth, your
3 and a
throat says,
half,
hold
the
on,
game
let's
is
check that stuff
scoreless.
out. And the brain goes, looks okay to me, let it go.
Alex Sanchez.
Listen again to the two parts, and especially that second one, which is kind of like,
Tough one for the right fielder. That's a gold glove play.
I didn't think he had a chance. This guy's one of the best in the league. Great play.
Change misses downstairs.
the whole revolution is about values. Values of any kind, you know?
He fouled it off.
What
to
you'll
the
do for
left.
$10, what you'll do with $10. Really, it's all comes down to values, what you value and how much. And I often think of that, because you can buy anything in this country.
A
Businessmen
liner.
are the ones who really kind of let the country
He's on with a
where it
one-out
is,
single.
in both ways, in the
Got a
positive
good
and
piece of
the
hit right there, and he put
negative.
it in the outfield for a
They
single.
did, the businessmen, because there's no morality in
Next at the
thinking.
plate,
Just the
Carlos
ledger. Keep it in the
Guillen.
black. Short profit, keep it in the black, keep it in the black.
Lofts
Never
one
mind your
to
soul,
left.
never mind the landscape, never mind the other guy. Keep it in the black, keep it in the black, do what you
Ramirez
can,
makes
keep it in the
the
black.
grab for the out.
Business as usual going on.
Big
Guy, he didn't
plywood
get all
up
that
there.
ball.
Business as usual.
Got under it, made an easy play.
Businessman did. That's right. You can buy anything in this country, man. Anything you can think of. You can probably buy a left nostril
fouled it
inhaler
off
if you
to
look
the
around
right.
long enough. With your state motto on it. Close in the dark. Anything, man. If you nail together two things that have never been nailed together before, some schmuck will buy it from you, man. Yeah, give you $1.50 for that. Yeah, anything at all.
Pitch taken for a
Values. I
ball.
often think of that when I go past the novelty store.
Nobody's business, so I wouldn't be
You know, the
surprised
novelty
to see him
store,
try to
tricks,
steal
jokes,
back.
fun, fool your friends.
Out number 3
And so
with a man
the
left
dribble
on
glass,
first.
joy buzzer,
5 innings remaining.
Whoopee
No
cushion.
score here.
called
The
poo-poo
bottom
cushion
of
in the
the
larger
order is up
towns.
next.
You put it down.
Hey, Phil fought it.
It's been very big with the Shriners and American Legion are into those things. You know. They're a little retentive anyway. I guess they need devices,
The
so
count's
why
even
not
at
let them
one.
have it?
Sometimes you try to
A
make
lot
a
of
hit
things for
chase
sale in that
your
store.
That's
You know, they have a
exactly what you
fly in
saw
an
right
ice
there.
cube, snake matches, pepper
The
gum,
count's
cigarette
1 and
loads,
2.
big thumb with a lot of bruises on it. That's a great one. They also sell fake
liner.
food, which really knocks me out. Got rubber hot dogs,
He reaches with a
plastic
leadoff
fried
single.
eggs. The ones I saw were made in Austria. Imagine that, imported plastic fried eggs.
Great
Yeah.
hit.
Versus southpaw pitching, this guy is just plain
Plastic Swiss
ordinary.
cheese. They have a little foam rubber sandwich with a bite missing from it. I often wonder how hungry people feel when they walk past, you know? Guys that don't have lunch money together, man. Going past the novelty store. Wow, I'd be salty. I'd be ready for a little trashing right away, you know?
On the ground.
Start there.
Cuts it off.
That's not the biggest insult. The biggest insult, however, is
They turn the
the
double
fake
play.
vomit.
Flawless execution.
Imagine
right
that
there on the
artificial
double play.
vomit. Wow. Some people can't scrape real vomit together, man.
Up
Guys are
next,
ordering 3 dozen
Manny
vomit on their
Ramirez.
phone, man. I've seen a couple of different brand names on that.
Takes a
One of them is
tailing
called
fastball.
Glop. Another one is Whoops.
2 outs and
Okay,
bases
whoops.
are empty.
Tells you where to use it, too. They have little
Takes a
hints on the
low.
cardboard. It's stapled to a piece of cardboard, and it tells you where to use it. On the car seat. There's a good one. On the sidewalk, naturally. And the bathroom floor, they suggest there. And then the one that knocks me out is near the refrigerator.
And he takes the walk.
Nothing positive comes
It's
out
so
of this guy.
strange, 'cause some
He's falling
grown
behind, he's
person
falling
had to
behind,
think
he
of
finally
that.
walks the guy.
Some guy was at work one day, and he said, "Hey, Phil, I got another one. Near the refrigerator, huh?"
Dirksen lays off.
Beautiful,
inside
Charlie.
for a
Let me
ball.
call the printer. Hey.
Near the refrigerator. Wow, fake vomit. Lenny Bruce once said the reason the artificial vomit sells is because the artificial dog crap
That
sold
takes
so
care
well.
of the side. Going into the bottom of the
I
fifth.
grew up
the game
watching the
is
dog crap
scoreless.
in the window, boy. That was, I always thought, at first I thought a dog had gotten in the window and
Stepping
done it.
in,
You know.
Marcus Giles.
It was always right next to the false teeth there that you wind up and let go, right? Oh, plaster of Paris dog crap. Wow. Sure is strange. How do you ask for that, you know? What do you say to the
Nothing in
guy?
two.
I'd like to see something in a dog crap, please. Well, what did you want to spend on
Sometimes you
that?
try to make the hitter chase your pitch. It's exactly
Money's no
what you saw
object.
right
It's for a
there.
very good friend.
Down
I
he
rather
goes
fancy
on
that
strike.
beige number in the window.
That guy's got 2 strikes on him, but he freaks
Well,
out.
that's not
He
beige,
takes that
that's
thing, he missed
champagne
it by a
gold.
mile.
It's our breed of the month, Bulldog. You buy a Bulldog, we throw in a Fox Terrier free.
Johnson steps into the batter's box.
Imagine there'd be collectors, you know, guys that had every breed. Hey, you got any St. Bernard? Yes, but there's no room in the window for that. The Doberman Pinscher, you'd always know the authentic Doberman Pinscher would be the one with the little pieces of clothing and buttons in it, right? I'd like to include a card with that, please. Love to all. Dan. Put that on my Diners Club. You mind
That's
gift
a
wrapping it
three-pitch
for me?
strikeout.
Take
Sure
part of
is
that. That was a
strange.
sweep. A guy who was not expecting a breaking ball. Strike.
I used to be Irish
3,
Catholic. Now I'm an
see.
American. You know, you grow.
Final hits this one to second.
Guy, this quick
That's
reaction
from one of those
allowed him to
Irish
play that
neighborhoods in
line
New
drive.
York.
Nice play.
From those kind of parish schools. Wasn't
Leading
typical.
off
It was
the
Corpus
sixth,
Christi was the
Mike
name of
Lowe.
it. Could have been any Catholic church, right? Our Lady of Great
And
Agony.
here's the delivery. Taken for a ball. He's batting
St.
at
Rita
284
Moreno.
with 11 ground balls and 53
Our Lady of
RBIs.
Perpetual Motion. What's the difference? What's your call? You know.
For a ball.
The church part and the neighborhood part were typical, but the school was not. It wasn't one of those old-fashioned parish kind of prison schools with a lot of corporal punishment and systemary discipline with a steel ruler, right? And you'd fall 2 years behind in penmanship, right?
Takes a pitch just off the plate, 1-0.
Well, he's behind in penmanship, Mrs. Carlin. I don't know why. He's crippled. He's trying to learn to write with his left hand.
The pitcher does not want to fall any further behind this guy, so he should be coming in with something across the plate.
We didn't have that. We got somehow got lucky, you know. Got into a school where the pastor was kind of into John Dewey and progressive education, and he talked the parish, talked the diocese rather, into experimenting in our parish with progressive education and whipping the religion on us anyway, and see what would happen with the two of them there. And worked out kind of nice. There was a lot of classroom freedom. There was no, for instance, there were no grades or marks, you know, no report cards to sweat out or any of that. There were no uniforms. There's no sexual segregation, boys and girls together, and the desks weren't all nailed down in a row, you know. They were movable desks, and you had new friends every month. It was nice. Like I say, a lot of classroom freedom. In fact, there was so much freedom that by 8th grade, many of us had lost the faith
2-ball, no strike
because they
count.
made questioners out of us, and they really didn't have any answers, you know. They'd fall back on, well, it's a
Out of the
mystery.
zone, that's a ball.
Oh, thank you, Father. Mystery. I don't know. What's he talking about? Mystery.
He walks him on 4 pitches.
Part of Class Clown was being an imitator, as you probably noticed. But I used to imitate the priests, which was right on the verge of blasphemy, you know. I could do them all rather well. I did Father Byrne the best. Father Byrne was the one who used to celebrate the children's mass. Oh, I thought that was great, celebrate mass. Yeah, man. Father Byrne did the children's mass, did the sermon every week. He used to do parables about Dusty and Buddy. Dusty was a Catholic, and Buddy
Mahomes is caught looking at
was
strike
not.
3.
And Buddy was always trying to talk Dusty into having a hot dog on Friday. And I could do Father Byrne so well that I often wanted to do him in confession, you know? I wanted to get into Father Byrne's confession on one Saturday, maybe a half hour before he showed up, and get in there and hear a few confessions, you know? Because I knew, according to my faith and religion, that if anyone came in there and really thought I was Father Byrne, and really wanted to be forgiven, and performed the penance I had assigned, they would have been forgiven, because that's what they taught us. It's what's in your mind that counts. Your intentions, that's how we'll judge you, what you want to do. Mortal sin had to be a grievous offense, sufficient reflection, and full consent of the will. You had to wanna. In fact, wanna was a sin all by itself. Thou shalt not wanna. If you woke up in the morning and you said, I'm going down to 42nd Street and commit a mortal sin, save your car fare. You did it, man. Absolutely. It was a sin for you to want to feel up Ellen. It was a sin for you to plan to feel up Ellen. It was a sin for you to figure out a place to feel up Ellen. It was a sin to take Ellen to the place to feel her up. It was a sin to try to feel her up, and it was a sin to feel her up. There was 6 sins in one feel, man. But confession had there's another aspect to confession for me. Our neighborhood was right between Columbia University and Harlem, Junior Art School of Music, Princeton, 2 seminaries, Jewish Theological and Union Theological Seminary. I said Harlem was there, and then to the north, a Puerto Rican and Cuban section. And as Puerto Ricans began to move into our neighborhood, the diocese, in this rare display of tokenism in the early 50s, sent one Spanish priest, Father Rivera, to hear Spanish confession. And all the Irish guys that were heavily into puberty would go to confession to Father Rivera. Because he didn't seem to understand the sins, you know? Or at least he didn't take them personally, you know? It wasn't an affront to him. There was no big theological harangue. He didn't chew you out. He was known as a light penance. In and out, 3 Hail Marys, you're back on the street with Father Rivera, man. Boom. You could see the line move. That's how fast he was working. But he wasn't ready for the way Irish boys were confessing at that time in that place.
Well, bless me, Father, for I've sinned. I will touch myself in an impure manner. I was impure, impurity and impureness. Thought, word, and deed, body, touch, impure, sex, dirty. Impure legs, impureness, touch, impure, dirty body, sex, rub, and covet. Heavy on the covet, Father.
That's okay, man. 3 Ave Marias. You'd be home in 5 minutes, you know? The Irish priest, on the other hand, nice guy, but first of all, he recognized your voice because you'd grown up there, right? He knew everyone. What'd you do that for, George? Oh, God, he knows, And the Irish priests were always heavily into penance and punishment, you know? They'd give you a couple of novenas to do, a 9 First Fridays, 5 First Saturdays, Stations of the Cross, a trip to Lourdes. Wow. That was one of the things that bothered me a little about my religion, was that conflict between pain and pleasure. You know? They were always pushing for pain, and you were always pulling for pleasure, man. You know.
game. This batter's been known to go on streaks versus right-handed pitching.
There were
Ramirez watches
there
the
were other
ball
things
away.
that bothered me. Perhaps it's retrospect, you know, and I'm seeing them better now. But I think I was troubled, too, at the time by the fact that my church would keep changing rules.
Looked like the pitcher
How could they
and
change
catcher
a
had
rule
strategy
anytime
in
they wanted?
mind.
This law is eternal, except for this weekend.
And the count is
Special dispensation.
Trying to make the bat official.
Magic words. Yeah, like eating meat on Friday was definitely a sin. Except for the people in Philadelphia. They were #1 in the scrap iron drive. Yeah. They would give it away as a prize, you know. If your parish gave the most money to the Bishop's Relief Fund, hamburgers on Friday. Yeah. Oh, and of course, I've been gone a long time now. It's not even a sin anymore to eat meat on Friday. But I'll bet you there are still some guys in hell doing time on a meat wrap, right? Gotta be there, yeah. I thought it was retroactive. I had a bologna sandwich.
really puts the pressure on
This
the
guy had a
defense when
beef
he's
jerky,
flying
right?
around.
Tell him what you had. How'd you like to do eternity for a beef jerky?
Dirksen lays off ball 2.
Looked like the pitcher and catcher had a
Yeah, 'cause
strategy
hell
in
wasn't
mind.
on
So
5 to
far, the
10,
batters
you
are
know.
taking this pitch.
Hell was later. Heaven, hell, purgatory, and limbo. Those were the 4 big places to go. Yeah. Heaven was the only one they showed you pictures of.
The count
Drawings,
is
I
full.
assume they were drawings, right?
He
Artist's
delivers.
conception of heaven. You
He
find
goes
that in,
down looking.
sometimes you find that in Treasure Chest, the comic book with Chuck Wright, the Catholic comic book. Yeah, Chuck Wright fan. Yeah, occasionally you'd see a picture of heaven. Heaven was always a lot of yellow and white light, a lot of vertical lines, a lot of clouds. Might have been clouds, might have been apartment buildings. You weren't really sure, yeah.
Pitched in tight for a ball.
And a lot of tall angels.
Sometimes you
Do you
try
ever
to make
notice
the
that?
hitter change
Except for the
your pitch.
cherubs,
That's
all the
exactly what you
angels,
saw
real
right
tall dudes. Yeah. And all blonde. They had far too many blondes in heaven as far as I was concerned. Yeah. Hell, they never showed you any pictures of hell. Hell was real easy to understand. Hell was fire, and anyone can dig fire, right? Yeah.
Hey, hell is like burning 100 Christmas trees and jumping right in the middle, you know?
Oh, I sure did. When I was in the league, I could pitch in front of 50,000
Purgatory
people.
was weird.
That like
Purgatory
going
was
in my
temporary
backyard,
hell.
singing to take me out to the ball
It
game
was
at
like it was as
Wrigley.
bad
I
as
was
hell, but
scared to
you knew you were
death.
going home, man. Often wondered if they had like short time clubs in Purgatory, you know? Little buzzards. I'm short, 2 eons, man. Yeah. I could do an eon standing on my head, man. Purgatory. The weirdest of all was limbo.
He belts it way
Limbo
back,
is where they sent
way back,
unbaptized
and
babies.
Gone.
The reasoning was it wasn't their fault. Yep. Can't see God if you're not baptized, but you're too young to make the decision. Whip them into limbo. Ooh. What could limbo have been? Welcome to limbo. I think they've since canceled limbo. I'm not completely sure, but I think when they purged a few of the saints, they called off limbo, too. Yeah. Of course, they promoted everyone, sent them to heaven, you know, didn't just cut them loose in space, right? Yeah.
He catches it in foul territory.
Once a week,
At bat with a
Father Russell
single.
would come in for heavy mystery time,
You don't see this ran
and
out
he'd
of
save
the
all your weird
He's
questions for
pitching
Father
very
Russell.
often.
In fact, you'd make
Out
up
of the
strange
zone,
questions.
that's a
You'd
ball.
take a whole week thinking up trick questions to Father
Arroyo
Russell.
with the
Hey,
wild
Father!
delivery.
Hey, if God is
Lashed
all
to the
powerful,
second
can he make a
baseman.
rock so big that
They
he
got
himself
him at
can't lift it?
first.
We got him now!
Or else you'd take a very simple
Pitch
sin
taken for a ball.
and surround it with the most bizarre circumstances you could imagine to try to, relieve the
One
guilt in the
ball,
sin.
one
We'd usually
strike.
end up with the statement,
Would that then be a sin then, Father?
it's like here, this is an example.
2 ball, 1
There was one
strike
sin,
count.
not receiving communion during Easter time. You had to perform your Easter duty. You had to receive once between Ash Wednesday and Pentecost
He comes
Sunday.
up a little
And if
bit
you didn't do
short.
it, it was a mortal sin. Providing, of course, you had said to yourself, hey, I'm not going to do it this year.
He's on with a single.
And there weren't many mortal sins on that, but a lot of guys went to Venial City on Easter duty. And so you would ask the priest,
Hey, Father! Hey,
Remember guys would leave their hand up after they got called on, right?
And the priest would say, what are you, the Statue of Liberty done?
Oh, sorry, Father.
Bible takes one low.
Anyways, Father, hey, suppose that you didn't make your Easter duty, and it's Pentecost Sunday,
A ball.
the last day, and you're on a ship at sea, and the chaplain goes into a
Straight up the
coma,
middle. He misses the catch. He's around second.
but you wanted to receive,
Single.
and then it's Monday, too late.
Hey, partner, nice base
But
running
then you
there.
cross
Goes
the
from first to
international
third base.
date line.
Yes, I'm sure God will take that into account. Sit down, Rizzy. Muhammad Ali, Muhammad Ali, Muhammad Ali. So that's really going on. Muhammad Ali. He's back at work again. He's being allowed to work once again, Muhammad Ali. He wasn't for a while, as you know. For about 3.5 years, they didn't let him work. Of course, he had an unusual job, beating people up. It's a strange call,
Ball
you
to the
know,
left side.
but it's one you're entitled
That's the
to.
third out with 2 men
Government
left on
didn't see it that
base.
way. Government wanted him to change
With
jobs.
2 innings left,
Government wanted him
Boston
to
leads
kill
by
people.
1. This could be
He
a
said,
big inning with the 3
no,
to
that's where I draw the line. I'll beat him up, but I don't want to kill him. And the government,
Watching ball 1.
But back to
the
pitcher and
government
catcher have
said,
strategy
well, if you
in
won't
mind.
kill
So far,
him,
the
we won't
batters
let you
are
beat him
taking
up.
Out of the zone, that's a ball.
It was a spiteful move, you know, all because he didn't want to go to Vietnam. And now, of course, we're leaving Vietnam.
Nice swing.
We're leaving through Laos, Cambodia, and Thailand. It's the overland route.
Payoff pitch.
It's a long way out. We got to go through China and Russia to get out that way. What are we going to tell them, man?
We'll only be here 6 weeks, just looking for the Ho Chi Minh Trail.
Good start to the inning. Leadoff single.
Maybe they'll go for it, you know. Of course, you have to remember why we're over there in the first place.
Pitch just off the plate. 1-0.
Like a prime candidate trying to start the bag right here.
Oh, yeah! It always comes to me. To free those people. So they can have industry.
Line drive up the middle.
U.S. industry. Those are the middle 2 letters of the
He's
word
on his
industry.
way to the plate.
U.S. And that is
A
our
run
job around the
crosses the
world.
plate.
Run in, free some people, and rip a little industry on them.
Here's your industry. Cool it a while, will you?
So they can enjoy the benefits of industry that we have come to enjoy.
Pitch just off the plate. 1-0.
Players are caught. If you're in second, you're going to go on anything here in the ground right side of the infield. The ground ball right here would open up that scenario.
Oh, beautiful for smoggy skies, insecticided grain, for strip-mined mountains' majesty, above the asphalt plain. America, America, man sheds his waste on thee, and hides the pines with billboard signs, from sea to oily sea.
This fellow here is now what you would call a batting coach's dream.
Then you have to remember the sexual side of Vietnam, which a lot of people don't notice. The Hearst newspapers notice it, of course. Yes, they're into sex on anything, and you check the wishing well or the sewing patterns, and there's a little something in there.
First
But
pitch.
they're always afraid of pulling out. That's their big problem, you know?
Pull out doesn't sound manly to me, Bill. I'd say leave it in there. Let's get the job done.
Umpire to swat.
Because that is, after all, what we're doing to that country, right? Yeah.
Liner. Throw to the cutoff man. And the run scores.
And we have always been good at that, you must admit. We took care of the blacks, took care of the Indians. I consider the South just another minority that was screwed by the U.S. government. I have no prejudice against them. They got it too.
They need to get a run right here. To do so,
We really gave
they
the
might want
Indians a
to give up
fast
an
trip
out.
across the continent. You notice that? They were having a little cookout in Massachusetts. A bunch of boats came up, man. Hey, you mind moving over, guys? Bring in the stuff. Would you move over? Would you mind bringing the stuff? Man, would you move over? Man, bring in the stuff. Come on, man, move over. Would you mind over 3 mountain ranges, 4 mountain ranges? Got them onto an offshore island, Alcatraz. Off the continent completely. They had to take the island to get it. Then we kicked them off there. I guess we're going to send them back where they came from. Yeah, we bought the Bering Strait theory, right?
Put them welfare people to work filling in the Bering Strait and charge them Indians $1 a head to go home. It's a good, sound business solution.
I love words. I thank you for hearing my words. I want to tell you something about words that I think is important. I love, as I say, they're my work, they're my play, they're my passion. Words are all we have, really. We have thoughts, but thoughts are fluid, you know.
He's on with a single.
And then we assign a word to a thought. And we're stuck with that word for that thought.
Up next,
so be careful
Manny
with words.
Ramirez.
I like to think, the same words, that hurt can heal. It's a matter of how you pick them. There's some people that aren't into all the words. There are some people that would have you not use certain words. Yeah, there are 400,000 words in the English language, and there are 7 of them you can't say on television. What a ratio that is. 399,993 to 7.
He's around third.
They must really be bad.
And the run comes home.
They'd have to be outrageous to be separated from a group that large.
All of you over here, you 7. Bad word.
That's what they told us they were, remember?
That's a bad word.
He turns on one and hits a sharp liner.
Bad thought.
Going into the bottom of the
Bad
8th.
intention.
The score is 5-1.
And words. You know the 7, don't you, that you can't say on television? Shit, piss, fuck, cunt, cocksucker, motherfucker, and tits. Huh? Those are the heavy 7.
On the ground.
Those are the ones that'll infect your soul,
Tigers have someone warming
curve
up
your
in the bullpen.
spine, and keep the country from winning the war. Shit, piss, fuck, cunt, cocksucker, motherfucker, and tits. Wow. And tits doesn't even belong on the list, you know? Yeah. It's such a friendly sounding word. Sounds like a nickname, right? Hey, tits, come here, man. Hey, tits. Hey, tits, me toots. Toots, tits, man. Sounds like a snack, doesn't it, huh? Yes, I know, it is, right, a snack.
The Red Sox are making a defensive
And I don't
swing.
mean your sexist
In
snack.
comes the new first
I mean
baseman.
new Nabisco tits.
Swing and a miss on the changeup.
The new cheese tits.
He
Corn
delivers.
tits and pizza tits and sesame tits, onion tits.
Waiting
tater
patiently
tits.
in the outfield circle is their big hitter.
Yeah. Bet you can't eat just one.
Pitchers ahead, 1-2.
That's true. I usually switch off. But I mean, that word does not belong on the list.
Pitcher and catcher have a strategy.
Actually, none of the words belong on the list. But you can understand why some of them are there. I'm not completely insensitive to people's feelings. You know, I can dig why some of those words got on the list. Like cocksucker and motherfucker. Those are heavyweight words, you know. Oh, there's a lot going on there, man.
Sends this one over to third. That'll do it for the Tigers.
Besides the
in this
literal
1 inning left to
translation
play.
and the emotional feeling, I mean,
Tigers trail
they're just busy
5-4,
words.
and we have 1 inning left to play.
There's a lot of
The
syllables
next
to
batter
contend
is
with.
Mike Lowe.
And those K's,
He
those
has
are aggressive
nothing on the
sounds.
ball.
They jump out at you, man. Cocksucker, motherfucker, cocksucker. Oh,
Out of the zone, that's a ball.
it's like an assault on you, you know? So I can dig that. Now, we mentioned shit earlier, of course, and 2 of the other 4-letter Anglo-Saxon words are piss and cunt, which go together, of course, but forget that. So, little accidental humor I throw in. Piss and cunt. The reason that piss and cunt are on the list is that a long time ago, certain ladies said, those are the 2 I'm not going to say. I don't mind fucking shit, but P and C are out. P and C are out. which led to such stupid sentences as, "Okay, you fuckers, I'm going to tinkle now."
Abreu hits high for a ball. Here's the 1-0 delivery. Pitch misses for a ball.
Sometimes you try to make the hitter chase your pitch. That's exactly
And of course,
what you saw
the word
right there.
fuck.
Pitch taken for a ball.
Word fuck. I don't really, well, here's some more accidental humor. I don't really want to get into that now. Because I think it takes too long.
Hey, that was a great at-bat,
But I
partner.
do mean
You
that. I
wouldn't
mean, I think the
budge,
word fuck is a
pitcher
very
for a
important
while.
word. It's the beginning of life, and yet it's a word we use to hurt one another quite often. And people much wiser than I have said, I'd rather have my son watch a film with two people making love than two people trying to kill one another. And I, of course, can agree. It's a great sentiment. I wish I knew who said it first, and I agree with that. But I'd like to take it a step further. I'd like to substitute the word fuck for the word kill in all those movie cliches we grew up with, right?
Okay, Sheriff, we're gonna fuck you now.
It's a single.
Hey, Kai, good work there to get
But
the
we're gonna
runner
fuck you
position.
slow.
The Yankees back into the batter's box.
So maybe next year I'll have a whole fucking rap on that word, and I hope so. There are two-way words. Those are the 7 you can never say on television. Under any circumstances, you just cannot say them. Ever, 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 not even clinically.
Out
You
of the
cannot
zone,
weave
that's
them in
a
on the
ball.
panel with Doc and
Right, the guy
Ed and
standing
Johnny. I
right
mean, it's
field
just
has his
impossible.
share of outfield assists.
Forget
Look for
those
the
7,
runner to
they're
stay at
out.
third if it's hit to right.
But there are some two-way words, those double-meaning words. Remember the ones you giggled at in 6th grade? And the cock crowed 3 times.
Say the cock crowed 3 times.
The pitch is hit to right
It's in the
field.
Bible.
Makes the catch to record the
There are
out.
some two-way words, like it's okay for Kurt Gowdy to say, Roberto Clemente has 2 balls on him.
Next up, Johnny Damon.
But he can't say, I think he hurt his balls on that play, Tony, don't you? He's holding them. He must have hurt them, by God.
Swing and a miss on the changeup.
That changeup was thrown to a perfect spot. Tough to hit.
And the
right
other
on
two-way
corner for a
word
strike.
that goes with that one is prick. It's okay if it happens to your finger.
Pitch misses.
Yes, you can prick your finger, but don't finger your prick. No, no.
Another single.
Kai, it seems that this guy just doesn't have it anymore. We could see a pitching change real soon.
Hi.
The Tigers bring in a new pitcher.
Hey, what
The
do
new
you
pitcher,
say?
Kaz Tadano.
How are you, man? Hello, good night. How are you? Happy Saturday. Good evening. Oh. I don't get right into the heavy shit, you know.
0-1.
Gotta
Jackson
goof
hits a
around a
shallow
little bit
fly
first,
to
you
right.
know. Get used to being here.
Incredible
First I was back
play.
there, now I'm here. Everybody's looking.
After 8.5, the Red Sox lead by 4.
Makes you nervous, you know? You get nervous too, don't you? Audiences get
Stepping in
nervous.
with 1 home
You know,
run, Carlos
trying to show
Mencia.
tension. You know, waiting for the timing, signaling the lights and the music and the show. And you get a little nervous because you know you represent your row, right?
The Red Sox turn it over to the pen. They're going to the
Don't want to be
bullpen.
laughing at the wrong stuff, you know. So sit with your foot in a dopey position. But I kind of goof around first, you know. But yeah,
Liner right after shortstop.
nobody
Base
goes
hit to
right
lead
to
off
work.
the inning.
Kai, that
Sure.
was a nice single. Good job.
Really, you might get there on time, but screw the company. Those first 20 minutes belong to you, right?
The bullpen is steering. He just wants to come out and give the bullpen some more time.
Partner, I don't know what
It's not an attitude in line with the American spirit, but there it is. We all screw around first. I just got here, man. You kidding me?
Here's the relief pitcher, Keith Fultz.
Really, you never see a memo that says 9:01. People don't jump out of bed and vacuum, right? So
And the
stand around in
pitch.
the office a little, look at the picture for a while.
Ground
Notice
ball
there's
hit
a
the
duck
other
in
way
it.
to the right side.
Been there 8 years, never saw the duck before. You're good for half an hour if you have a window in your office, right?
Good play to move that runner to score position. Stepping in 1 for 3.
Especially if they're building something across the street. Some guy come in and do 90 minutes on
He
struts.
swiped 6 bases.
You need some beams and struts here. You need some 3/8-inch beams. You want to get AC power in here. You knock a false hole in the
Hit towards
ceiling. You
third
run
base.
conduit. You run conduit straight down there. Some beams and struts, and you got that at perfect angle.
Anyway, this is my job. Welcome to my job, man.
1 ball,
Good job.
2 strikes.
Everybody doesn't have an audience on their job. But it'd be nice if they did, though. Have 3 people sitting on the other
Strike
side of
3
the desk.
sends him
Yes.
back to the dugout with nothing to show for that AB.
Originally,
He
this
gets
job was
ahead of
called
him and never
fool.
looks back. Sweet strikeout.
Always want to put it down under occupation on the form, you know?
Up next with
Occupation,
1
fool.
single already, Nick Johnson.
They might spell it with the final E just to piss him off, you know?
A ball.
Hey, partner, if the pitcher can
understand
keep
your
the ball
son's a
low in the
fool,
zone, he
Mrs.
might be able to
Garland.
induce a ground ball to start, too.
America's fastest rising young fool. Well, in the old days, they were using the weird thing. Folks who normally spend a lot of time in closets, and most were jesters, and they would
Line
do various
drive
kinds.
right
People
to
were
the third baseman.
just plain old. They were entertaining.
A run scores.
I guess it happened by accident one night. The dancers.
Well, I don't know
were
about that, though. He needs to find
Or
the
the
target
fool.
and fire it over.
Hey, he's good. God damn. People always wonder how you get this job, how you get started. It's largely
And the
hereditary.
pitch.
And
Missed
like
low.
everything else, environmental.
They've set
too.
that defense
Being
if they
funny
don't
on
play
the
depth.
street.
You can get a ground ball right
That's
here.
a part
They
of the
might get
style.
2.
Knowing you're funny when you're a kid. Street humor as opposed to school. In school, it's easy. Being a cross town is really easy because people aren't allowed to
Okay, this
laugh in
guy's
school.
got great reaction.
It's nice because the other person got in trouble. Got to laugh. You know, really got really deep. Because he couldn't control himself when he burst out. You whip a quick face on Roger and look
misses.
around like you're interested in the problem on the blackboard, and Roger's in trouble, you know, right?
Hey, Roger!
Roger, there's nothing funny here, outside. You could clear the room if you were good, man. Sometimes they'd cross you up, though, and they'd say, Roger's going to stand up and tell us all what's so funny, isn't he, Roger?
Great way to end the game if you're on the pitcher's team.
So the street was a little
Arroyo picks up the
hard.
win.
It was,
Marat is
well, part of it
saddled
was
with
like
the
slip
loss.
fights. It was just good to be funny,
Boston
generally.
Red
in a
Sox
tough
win it
neighborhood.
by 3.
If you weren't a big fighter, dude. Then you got tired of running a lot. It was good to be funny. If guys came around, it would save you from an ass kicking if someone from another neighborhood came around. Who's going to hit a guy, you know, and sitting there? Don't hit him, man. It's bad luck to hit a guy like that, you know? But slip fights, we had slip fights. You know, when adolescent boys, teenage boys are together, they always put each other down verbally. There's a running verbal battle. Chop fight, they call it in some place. Cutting, slip fight, we call it. And it started with the dozens, you know, talking about some places have rules when you're putting each other down. No mothers, man. Hey, no mothers, man. We didn't have that rule. We started right in with your mother. And worked it from there. Hey, where'd you go last night? I was out with your mother, man. There was always one guy whose mother had died, remember? And, oh, man. What do you mean, my mother's dead? Man, I forgot, man. That originated in black street culture as the dozens, or capping on somebody, signifying the dozens, playing the dozens. You want to play the dozens? Well, the dozens is a game, but the way I fuck your mother is a goddamn shame. I grew up in a neighborhood right next to right next to Harlem. Well, we had an interesting neighborhood. It was a little Irish neighborhood with Columbia University all on one side, like including everything connected with Columbia, like Juilliard School of Music was there, and the Union Theological Seminary, Jewish Theological Seminary,